Hey guys, it's Blockchain Bernie here with my latest episode 382. This one's quite special because I'm going to report to you guys directly out of the development lab about the recent breakthroughs that we had with developing the storage layer. Because you know the Munich release is a big one, right? It brings us into the South era. So it's going to be the end of the Deep South era, and we're going to go South era with the Munich release, and it's a fully functioning prototype. So all the functionality that will ever be there in the storage layer is already there, but it is there in a way that needs some fine-tuning here and there, and that's what we have the other 28 releases for. But it's going to be a fully functional prototype. And, I'll just give you a peek into the lab, what we're doing with the development teams. Every morning, 7 a.m., we have these development meetings, the stand-up meetings. Most of the time, they are quite quick, but sometimes there's a lot to discuss. And, I'll just give you a quick peek about the breakthroughs, and also I'll give you a little bit of a picture on how it might look like when we get there with the Munich release. And we're not far away, right? It's going to be there real soon. Hi, Michael. Glad to see you. Good that you're there. And we have these live comments on, right? Because this is a live stream. It's not an AMA. It's mostly me going to be talking. But if I see some messages here, like Michael greeting me nicely here, I'll just respond. So I can just encourage you to type some of these live messages there. All right, so Munich release is upcoming. First of all, what the Munich release is going to include is a full-blown kind of file explorer, right? So everyone knows, like the Windows File Explorer on Mac, it's called the Finder. And maybe from the old days, things like the Norton Commander or stuff like that, like a file explorer where you can click through all of the directories and you see all the files in the directories, and you can move files, you can enter some content into the files, you can, delete files and stuff like that. So just to hey, Dr. Alburn, airdrop 2 is going to come soon. I'll talk about that. So thanks for that question, Dr. Alburn. Hey, Nicolo, good to see you here. Now I said it the English way, right? I love to say Nicolo, right? That's the Italian way. And Ehindero, good to see you here. Moon Lady. So good that you're all here. So yeah, we're going to have that file explorer, and that's actually huge because it's already kind of a test app, a demo app that really showcases what can Munich do. It's not going to be an app that does something, right? It does something. It's a file explorer, right? It's almost like a Dropbox, like the Dropbox web interface that you might know. It's also a file explorer, right? You can do all that. So it's similar to that, and but in the Munich release, it's all public, right? There's no privacy or confidentiality in there yet in the Munich release, right? Munich release is just plain blockchain. So what is plain blockchain? It means it is tamper-proof, right? Nobody can tamper. And if they want to change anything, they have to send a transaction. It's going to cost a transaction fee, and you will see on the blockchain who it was. But nobody can tamper like under the hood in a clandestine way or something. So it's tamper-proof, and it's censorship-resistant, and it's on-chain storage in that sense of the word. And but it's going to be all in the public in the Munich release, right? So and that showcases everything, right? There's no Wikipedia app yet. There's none of these little guessing game apps that we described in the green paper. It's not there yet because the Munich release is the fully functional prototype, and we're laser focused on that, right? We're just developing that storage layer with all the functionality and documenting it for developers, right? So if you think of developing a Web3 app that needs storage, you will see in Munich how it all works, right? And then from there, there's like 5 or 6 releases until we arrive in Frankfurt. Frankfurt is the mine era. And in that era, there's going to be the Wikipedia demo app and all these types of things, right? So, but Munich is big for us, right? We won't see that much. In Munich, we will see the Explorer. I mean, that's huge, right? But it's not something where people will say, oh, cool, I have a file explorer now, right? We've been knowing these things for a long time. I know. But now that storage layer is integrated into Solana, right? And we all will be able to see that. So I see a question here from Nicolo. I get back to that. So the breakthroughs that we have is, first of all, we have that fully functional, and that's not a small app, right? It's a website where you can go through all these directories and make changes and view all these files and stuff. It's quite a functionality. We found an open source tool that was open enough for us to adapt it to the Xandeum storage layer, so it's gonna look great. We have that. Also, one of the small, for those of you who are technically interested, right? We are now storing each and every Xandeum transaction in the Solana block store, right? That does not mean that each and every transaction goes into the Solana ledger. If we did that, right, and we want to have exabytes and zettabytes of storage someday, it would all end up in the Solana ledger, and that's not what we want to do. We want to have a separate storage layer that scales better than Solana, right? It all needs to be provable and trust anchored in Solana, and it is, but we don't want to clog Solana with all the data that we're storing in the storage layer. That would be contrary to our purpose. But still, we are storing each and every transaction in what's called the block store. The block store does not go onto the Solana ledger. It stays in that one RPC validator that is processing the Xandeum transaction. But there we will see that this transaction and when this transaction has been confirmed and finalized, so that other apps, especially wallets, will be able to see that this transaction has gone through. You might have noticed with the Freiburg release, when you use that backpack wallet, that it took like a second or two for each and every transaction to get shown as confirmed. That was because we didn't store it in the block store in the Freiburg release. We're doing that in Munich. It's working nicely, so everything is being sped up by about a factor of 10. How does that sound? So we're getting faster in Munich, and we also have resolved several problems there that came up when we do the peek and poke operation. Also, we're building a very nice web interface into the P nodes, right? So the P nodes right now have Xandminer running, which is kind of your management, a GUI, graphical user interface. You can manage your P node with Xandminer. But in Munich, we'll have the core, the actual core of the Xandeum storage layer, which is called the pods, right? So each and every P node is going to be running a pod. And that pod is receiving the storage requests that are coming in from the apps and actually storing the data. So in Freiburg, all of you that are running P nodes, they're not really storing data yet. They can create file systems and delete the file systems. So that was the purpose of the Freiburg release. But in Munich, we will actually be storing the data, and we will have these pods. So these pods are the core of what the P node actually does, right? It stores data for the Xandeum network. That will be possible, and what we put into those pods is another web interface to see what's going on in the pod, right? So if you have ever seen that super slick web interface of the Firedancer, the new Solana validator client, right? With like data, usage data flowing through and visualizations, and you get a live peek into, no pun intended here, you get a live peek into how many requests are coming into your P node. How many pages did you provide to the network, and how many of them are utilized, and how many of them are idling. This might all go up and down, and how many requests are coming in, right? So that will be super slick, and it's going to have a super cool look. So that's one of the latest breakthroughs that we had. It's already working in our in our development environment, right? So yeah, those are the things that we recently resolved here that are not so visible to any of you guys. And I'll just use these videos here just to keep you guys up to date on what we're doing under the hood here. And it is super exciting. Munich is super exciting to us. There's no not like a game or not the Wikipedia there. And, it'll never be Xandeum's focus to do that, right? It's just like Solana Labs or Anza, they don't do apps, right? It's other people, other companies who do that. And we will be onboarding these. We already have a lot of interest from people that want to use the Xandeum storage layer in their apps. And most of the focus of the marketing team right now, and especially Sean, who is doing a great job. He's new on the marketing team, as you know. But he is looking into platforms like Super Team Earn, right? So there is a thing called superteam.fun on Solana that incentivizes stuff for people. And there's an earn.superteam.fun. So we will have bounties out there, right? So we will say, okay, here's a few ideas that we want to see on Xandeum, like, for example, a blockchain-based password manager. How about that? Nobody can tamper with it, right? And nobody can be censored or anything like that. That's one of the things. And we have a few game ideas just to showcase what we can do with the storage layer that cannot be done without it. And teams can see that, and Solana development teams, they go to that super team page anyway to look for bounties and how can they monetize their development skills and stuff. So I'm super excited to see how that works. Super agog to see how that works. That's a new word that I learned. Let me know how the word agog sounds to you. I love it. Anyway, so super agog how that works out. And that's one of the things on the marketing side, right? But on the technical side, really, we're making great progress. And I couldn't be more happy because it was tough to figure that all out on how we do this whole architecture so that it's integrated into Solana. The whole storage economy will be in Sol, right? And once people see that, right? And it's not that far out in the future. Once we have Munich, it will go boom, 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 and we're going to arrive at Frankfurt real soon. We're going to be live on mainnet. There will be people that make transactions on mainnet, and it'll create rewards in Sol. That we can get there by staking Sol to the XanSol liquid staking pool, because that captures those extra storage rewards. It'll get so much growth potential here. And of course, it's all potential. We need everyone that's watching now, please help spread the word, especially for development teams. We already have a team that wants to become a major RPC provider here for Xandeum. I couldn't be more happy about that. And we need to get wallets also to be able to set those custom RPCs to the Xandeum-enabled RPCs. We're working on that one also. So many things are falling into place now. That has taken us so much thought and so much preparation and so much work into getting the fundraising done and then getting transitioned and getting the token listed and getting the liquid staking up. But we all need that. It's all part of the foundation that we've built here, and it's so great to see that we're now, pieces are coming together, and we're finally setting up some of the top pieces there that actually make the storage layer work, that actually will convince development teams to build real world apps on that. And yeah, so that's my little peek here of the breakthroughs that we've made, storing transactions in the block store, making it 10 times faster by that, having that slick web interface. That was not in the plan, right? We just thought, well, that would be so cool that people will actually be able to monitor what is going on in their pods. We have that actual pod software that's going to be running on the P nodes. We have sold all 300 P nodes. Guys, I am so happy about this community engagement here. It was 300. And, due to the XAND token pumping, it became quite expensive in the end. I promised it to be around $100 or even under. So when I set the price of 35,000 XAND, it was like $80, 70, even 70 something, right? And then the XAND token went up, and it was almost like $400 in the end. So per P node, right? So it's not a small investment. You're getting it back with 10,000 XAND a month, locked XAND, right? A month, just by running that P node. Plus, and that's not the main thing, right? The main thing is having your pole position for the future for running the P node on mainnet, because you'd have to run one in DevNet in order to get the the stake delegation from the Xandeum Foundation. So I couldn't be happier with this result. All the P nodes for the Deep South era have been sold. I hope everyone can get it set up. We have a few guys out there that can help. We have the moderators on our Discord. We have the ticket system on the Discord. So if there's anything, open a ticket on Discord. We want everyone to succeed setting up their P node as soon as we can. We know there is still some things to make them even easier. We think once the tunnel and the SSH tunnel is set up, everything is super easy, because then you can access the web GUI, right? It's just, you just have to set it up, because the Zen Miner is not an app on the web, right? It's not a cloud thing. Then it wouldn't be blockchain, right? It's running on your node. It's not running on any one server, like on Google server, Amazon server, Dropbox, or anything. It's running on your little VPS that you set up as your P node, and you need to set up that secure channel to access it. It has to be a super secure channel, because obviously if anyone could access your P node, that would be a disaster, right? And setting that up is a small thing, but most of you are not familiar with it. So you're doing it the first time, and when something breaks, you don't know what to do. We're making it even easier in the next eras, in the Deep South era, and we're building like an installer, like a one-click installer and stuff, and it's all going to go through automatically. So we're learning from your feedback there, making it even easier. And that's where we're at. So let me look at the live messages here. Wow, you're giving me a lot of messages today. I love that. Okay, Nicolo, I've been getting P node set up. One question is on the VPS. If we take a year contract, are we going to need to be able to upgrade the VPS with new releases, CPU, RAM, SSD? Nicolo, that's a great question. And I would ask the exact same question if I were in your shoes. But it's just super hard to predict, right? And I'm in the position of running a Solana validator, and I have the same issue, right? It all depends on how things develop. How competitive will things become, right? I had to upgrade my validator several times just because there was like crazy demand for Solana transactions, right? And there's new functionality, and then hardware requirements went down again because they improved the software, and we didn't need that much hardware anymore. And I can reach out to Solana and tell them, should I do a 1-year contract with my Edgevana or something like that? And nobody can tell, right? That's the sad truth, nobody can really tell. I mean, the good thing is if it's a $5 a month, even if you do it for a year and then for the last 3 months you won't be able to use it, it's not a huge loss. And also, if you upgrade, usually they are lenient, right? All these hosting providers, if you buy a more expensive thing, that's the easy part, right? When you want to downgrade, that's when they're not so happy, right? So it's likely it needs to be upgraded at some point in time. I would say it's probably not so likely before Frankfurt, but then it goes into mainnet at some point. Then your DevNet will automatically be transitioned into testnet without having to purchase a new license or anything. It just gets kind of renamed to testnet. But testnet then at some point needs to mimic mainnet. So it all depends on what load will we have on mainnet, right? Will the Wikipedia get adoption? Will there be other apps that get a lot of adoption? And who knows that, right? I don't. So I can understand that question so much. I can absolutely relate to it, even, being someone that runs nodes myself. But the answer is time will tell, right? It's like nobody loves to hear that, but that's how it is. Michael, don't forget to give a like. I even have a button for that here. All right. So please like this video if you want more content like this. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And the most important thing is leave me a comment. These online, live interactions here are awesome. But also leave me a comment down here below the video. That helps a lot. Yeah, Peter from the Xandeum site about Munich, milestone goals, working prototype. Setup API, yes, it's full, right? So we're going to have the full setup API. We have all the functions that are ever planned to be part of Xandeum can already be sent to our modified RPC node, and they will be understood and executed, right? And the paging is, yes, we're going to have paging. So your P nodes that you have, you will run the pods on it. So there will be a pod software. You just say apt-get or apt-install pod or Xandeum pod, and then it's there. And it has paging, right? The page size for now is 1 megabyte, which seems quite large, but if you think about it, we want to go exabytes with Xandeum, right? If the page size is like 64 kilobytes or 4 kilobytes, it won't be able to handle that, right? So we're going to have 1 megabyte. That's our trade-off right now. 1 megabyte page size. That means everyone that stores less than 1 megabyte, there's a little bit of waste of storage space there, right? But it ensures that we can scale where we want to go. And yes, we're going to have paging, and that's a big thing. That's it isn't like a weekend task to implement that paging here. It's quite advanced technology, and I couldn't be happier about the dev team that we have on board there. That does that. So that's great. There will be no redundancy. Everything will be stored just once in the Munich release. And the pods BFT will be centralized. So there's no BFT yet, right? So the BFT will be part of I think the central era or something like that. That will be a major thing. But for now, to demo everything, the storage is just centralized for now. It's on, servers that are operated by Xandeum Network, by Xandeum Foundation, and Xandeum Foundation could theoretically do anything with your data, right? That's not what we want to have in the future, correct? So that's why we have this BFT decentralization going on if I remember correctly, in the central era. Find grep, there is no find yet, so that's the reason we can't implement a Wikipedia on the Munich release just yet, because when you have a Wikipedia, you type in an article. Let's say you type in Las Vegas, and then you want the article from Las Vegas to pop up, but we don't have that indexing and that find and grep yet. So we won't be able to find that. It would have to go through all like 100,000 articles until it finds the Las Vegas one, and that obviously would be quite slow. So that's something we will implement during the South era. And there's no fee markets, so there's no fees going to be collected for the storage yet. And the XAND miner will have the basic stats. And what's now there in addition is the pods GUI, the pods UI, right? It's already there in Munich. It's not even a column in our sheet there because we didn't think about it in the beginning, right? But we're gonna have it, so that's nice. All right. Bikram, hi Bikram, Moon Lady, thanks for the insight. Alan, good to see you here. Why Metro? By the way, LST is liquid staking, or is the T for something else? Oh, it's liquid staking token, right? That's an LST. So the XAND Sol is in token, and it's a liquid staking token, right? Because it kind of certifies, it's kind of a receipt for having staked your Sol with our pool, and you get that token in return. That's the token is the core of liquid staking. So an LST is a liquid staking token. LSP would be a liquid staking pool. But on Solana, the LSP is not so. People don't use that abbreviation that much. Most of them know the LST. So LST is kind of a go-to term, and it means liquid staking token. Okay, Michael, hope the liquid providing in the Radium pool is helping too. Absolutely, man. Thanks everyone for providing liquidity. I wouldn't have thought that, right? That was kind of a hip shot for me, right? I was just thinking, man, we need liquidity provided by the community, and you know, I just thought, like, if we now think about that a long time, and how do we set up something, and you know, I just went to Radium and set up the farm, and just you know, sent out my Discord and my X tweets, and man, there was such a resonance there. I love it, right? We need that liquidity. Last time I looked into it, it was $40,000 provided by the community, and it didn't mean our stake in the XAND Sol stake pool went down. So somehow they didn't just unstake it there and then put it into liquidity. Many people ask that on Discord, right? Should I do that, right? It's, you know, you can do whatever you want, but if your goal is make us happy and make Xandeum successful, then obviously the best thing is leave it in the XAND Sol and get some new funds and provide the liquidity there, right? But whatever you do is fine with me. You have many options, and you know, you decide what you do with your funds, right? But it turned out we have $40,000, and probably as we speak, it's even more, right? And that's awesome, right? And we're over 200 in total liquidity with the one that we provide ourselves, and you know, I'm the one providing most of the liquidity as for now. Is over 220,000, and that's great. I think the 250,000 is another critical thing, because there's so many guides out there on X and everywhere that say, like, how can you trade in tokens for a profit, right? Here's your filters for Dex Screener, right? And they give you the filters, and they say, watch for tokens that have this and that age, and they have this and that price movement recently, and they have this and that liquidity. And usually the ones below 150 or so, they don't look at these, right? They only recommend, you know, trying your luck with tokens that have at least 150 grand in liquidity. And some of these guys say at least 250. They look for, is the liquidity locked? So I locked mine for 6 months, which is also quite a, you know, I mean, it's over $100,000, right? And it's just locked for half a year, and there could, you know, lots of things can happen in half a year. It's quite a proof of, you know, my trust in this project and my commitment to this project. And yeah, so that's it. I hope you were able to claim the rewards for the first week. Right now, I'll do it week by week, the liquidity Rewards, and we added Xandsol to that also. Sometimes Xandsol still shows as 0. I'm working on a script here that periodically buys small amount of Xandsol so that the tools like Radium and Phantom and everything will see that there are constant trades, and that way they will always show the value, right? Sometimes if there's no trades for a day or so, they will just show it as 0. I hate that thing. Not every token has to be traded all the time, right? And I love that you guys all see it as a long-term investment and not just as a trading target, right? So that's so great. But it is tough in the Solana larger ecosystem to get seen there, and because they require that it's being traded often. So we're just writing these scripts here, and hopefully we will see the value of Xandsol right now, like $155 or something. We will always see that in Phantom and always see that in Radium and in Jupiter and everything. So thanks for your patience there. Congratulations on the P-Notes. Thanks, Mubby. Why Metro? Bernie is getting so excited he almost clears his desk. That's true. Thanks for noticing. Nicolo, huge congrats on the P-Note sale. Thank you. Why Metro? Now let's help them on Discord to set up the P-Notes. Absolutely. That'd be great. We are growing all together. That's so true, Michael. Elaine, great news from you, Bernie. Love the buzz. Thank you. Love you're here and everyone's here. And Y Metro, nicely programmed interface on the Xand miner setup control, very effective. Thank you. Nicolo, VPS discount on a year contract gives you 2 months free, so break even at 10 months. Yeah. It's free for everyone to decide. I can't really make a recommendation here. Then Vito on X. So all the other live comments here were on YouTube, but there's another live comment here from X. So my software named Restream that I use to do it both in parallel on X and on YouTube, right? So if you're watching this on YouTube, you will find the same thing on the same time on X. And I'll ask you not only to like and subscribe here on YouTube, right? But also please interact with this video on X as well. And the thing is, just view it one more time, right? That helps. If X sees, oh, those videos that Blockchain Bernie is posting, they're actually being viewed from beginning to end, since when you've already seen it on YouTube, you don't have to watch it another time on X, but just let it run, right? Just let it run and walk somewhere, have a coffee or something. That would help me if you can do that, and like it on X and repost it on X and all these type of things. Those are really, really helpful. And for all of these things, you are getting points and getting back to the airdrop too. So first of all, we're doing the reward season thing. So that's going to happen really, really soon now. Most of the things are done. I tweeted about it. 90% is done. As we speak, 98% is done. So we're going to have the new reward season, and you will be able to claim your rewards then from season 2, right? And get them into the DAO if you want to stake it. The staking APY, and that was another question, is still 16%. And I tweeted that yesterday also. 16% APY, that is an awesome a way to kind of get more XAND if you already have XAND. If you don't have XAND, buy them and stake them in the DAO for 16% APY. That is just fantastic. And yeah, and interact with all of this here on X also, please, 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 because X is so important for us, right? X is our way to get out of the community that we already have and extend our reach to new people that will trade the token. We need some of them also that are just trading the token just to get that volume onto these exchanges. It's great we all have that liquidity, and it's so great to see that the guys that are in there early see it as a long-term investment. And that's, of course, my advice to everyone. See it as a long-term investment, not as a short-term trading opportunity, right? And there were some guys that traded a little bit too much for me, and I gave them a call and I called them out. And then they stopped. It worked, right? And they, I know one guy that now staked 5 million ZAND in the DAO and locked it up, right? Rather than trading or selling it, right? So that's all great, but it would be nice if there are traders out there, right? And they just want to buy and sell and everything. That would be so great to get our trading volume up on our pools here, because that gives us the credibility and the visibility within the Solana community, and that will spread the word from one to the other. So please give me that. And honestly, all the opinion leaders, the Solana OGs and the Solana VIPs and stuff, they all hang out on X. We won't find them on YouTube or on Facebook, for that matter, or anywhere. They are all on X. So the more we grow on X, the more engagement we get there, the better for us. So please do that. You collect your points for that. We're going to be finalizing the airdrop 1 because there's an outstanding amount. We held back some of it on airdrop 1 for potential scammers. Then we found out, okay, so many of them kind of agreed that they were scamming us because they didn't come back, right? We didn't give them their rewards, and they didn't complain, most of them, right? So most, probably they haven't really earned their rewards, and that's great. And we take these rewards and we give them to all the other airdrop 1 recipients. So there will be a residual payment for airdrop 1 as soon as we have the season 3 going and your season 2 rewards are claimable. Then we're going to do the airdrop 1 remaining part, residual part. We will send that directly to wallets. It's going to be like 4,000 wallets. So the number of ZAND holders will go up. And you see that on the blockchain. If you go to SolScan and you look at the XAND token, you see how many holders are there, right? And it's like 1,100 now, and that's low. It's going to be flagged by RugCheck and all these. It's a low number of holders, right? It'll go up to like 5,000 in a day now when we do that. And right after that, we will do the airdrop 2, right? And the airdrop 2 will be quite different from the airdrop 1. There will be a couple of things that will be announced soon. But, it's going to be a few weeks from now. It's not going to take all that long. Just bear with us. We have other priorities. We need to get Munich going. We need to plan Munich. We need to get the super team earn going, all these type of things. But the airdrop 2 is a high priority right now. Right after we did the residual part of the airdrop 1, the airdrop 2 will be going out. It'll likely gonna be sent to everyone directly to the wallets without having to come back and claim it. And thank you, everyone, right? The airdrops have turned out, in some cases we thought like, was this the correct way to do the airdrop and give away all those tokens? And some of these people might not be really interested in becoming part of the community. And that's true, right? There is probably like 90% that are not interested in becoming part of the community and engaging with us and spreading the word. They just want to make a quick buck. And if they earn like $20 by making a few clicks, or $100 by making a few clicks, that's a big deal for them, right? And there's so many people in the world that are like that, and that is fine, right? We want to help these people also. But there is like 5%, 2%, whoever it might be, how large the percentage might be. We found a few people here through the airdrops that are really engaging, right? And the last 2 P nodes were bought by someone from China, which I'm so super excited about, right? He might become the bridge for us into that country that has a huge amount of crypto adoption and all these type of things, right? And he learned about us through the airdrop. So those airdrops are great, right? And we're going to continue doing them And of course, we learn like how much, how many tokens for what, how about the lockups and all these type of things. So that's why I'm saying a few things might change, and we haven't made the final decision there yet. But expect airdrop 2 to be coming likely in the month of May, I would assume. All right. Then Michael. Vito again. You say you've had interest from a number of companies. I believe I've heard about online gaming, gambling org. Can you share some of the D-apps that are showing interest? I've had another video of that. I don't really want to repeat all of that. There is one of that gambling app that wants to do it, and there have been others, the LLM fact checker that I talked about. I can't just give their names right now simply because I haven't talked to them if they want to get named here. But they're going to be on our website soon, right? So there will be a list of, here are the first adopters of the first apps that use the Xandeum storage layer, right? So if you want to build something, you can be on that list early on, and it might be huge, right? And many companies see that. They are like super interested in being among the first companies of building something on top of Xandeum. And I do think it is great, right? If you're one of the first apps on Ethereum back then, 10 years ago, it has probably put you in such a great pole position that it's difficult for all others to ever pass you, right? So, all right. Yeah, we will get release notes and docs. So that's one of the things we're working on right now. It's a little bit like, we're as we build, we learn kind of the remaining parts of the architecture and stuff. But it's a high priority on our list to build these documentation, right? The developer-focused documentation, so that they see how can I build an app on Xandeum, and they see all the operations and the setup API, how I like to call it, like the storage primitives that they can send, and then they have that file explorer to check it all out. So, and that is an important part, right? We won't launch Munich without having that. It needs to be documented. There needs to be demo apps, all open source. And, I couldn't be more excited about big chunks of the solution being open sourced from day one. It's just a centralized storage solution that we're building right now, which is Atlas and the pods. We're keeping that closed source for now until we decentralize it in the central era, right? Then that's going to be all open source. It's all going to be an 100% open source solution. We just have a proprietary storage engine for now, which is not a big deal because it's going to be throwaway anyway, right? It's not something that stays. We just don't want to, fully copy something in the super early days. So that's why we keep this closed source for now. But the main parts, right? The modifications to the Solana validator, the Zen miner management interface, and I think it's a total of like 8 repositories. And there is tweets about it in the making, so they will come out over the next 2 weeks, right? For each of these 8 or 9 repositories, explaining what it does, giving you the link where you can see the source code and you can contribute and you can submit pull requests and everything. So that's also an important part for people to learn about it, and another reason to be excited about it. So paging is a bit like the blocks or clusters on a regular file system. Yeah, it's a little bit like the blocks, right? So the file systems reside on what's called block devices. I call them pages I have borrowed that term from Unix memory management. They're called pages there, but the pages are in memory, but here we do it on file. So yeah, they are like blocks. So we're really mimicking these block devices, disks, and store file systems on there, right? And all on the blockchain with BFT and everything, right? It's like, yeah, I don't know. It is so great, and nobody's done it before. And I think it's needed, and it's the missing piece for Web3 to become really Web3. And yeah, it is so, it is a well-known paradigm. We all know block devices and file systems for, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 years. And it has proven to be a base technology that can generate so many types of apps, right? We don't have it on the blockchain. It's, you know, I don't know why, but I'm so happy we're building it, right? Do these spread across all nodes? Yeah, absolutely, right? So if there's one large file, like 10 megabytes, it needs 10 pages, right? One page will be on your P node. The next page will be on someone else's P node. The third page will be yet on someone else's P node. You as a P node don't know what file it belongs to, right? You just store pages. And that's how it should be, because all the data needs to be tamper-proof later on and all these type of things. And we need to comply to all those regulations and stuff like that. It's going to be encrypted at some point in time, maybe optionally encrypted. It's going to be read protected, obviously like private in some cases. But in Munich, it's all open. Anyone can read it, right? And yeah, they do spread across all nodes. Why Metro was asking that. Moon Lady, should we move our XAND tokens from the Govir? That might be a typo here. I don't know what you mean with Govir. From the governance to P-node staking. No, there's no P-node staking yet, so please leave it wherever you have it. Leave it in the DAO, or yeah, that's where they belong, in the DAO, because they get a 16% APY there. Just leave them there for now, right? Once the P-node staking becomes live, we will announce it like a month earlier, so then you can start your unlock in the DAO and get them from there. But likely you earn more XAND in the meantime, right? So, okay, Nicolo again. I also think the min size of the pool is important to prevent it from getting drained of one token. Yep. Thanks, Bernie. Great session, says Elaine. Thank you, Elaine. And Peter, XAND equals to expand. Just a little wordplay. Yeah, that's also nice. Phil Healy, aka Felix, I've heard. I've taken out my liquid staking Sol and converted to Radium liquidity, but the rewards don't look as impressive as you stated, 40,000 XAND per week and 1 XAND Sol. That's going to be shared among the $40,000 liquidity, right? That's for all of the liquidity providers, except me. Actually, when I made that farm, I thought like, oh, I provided 100,000 liquidity, I will get a lot of these rewards, right? But I don't, because I locked it up in Streamflow, the liquidity token. So and I deposited into the pool before it was a farm, right? So I don't get any of these, right? But that's fine. It's for you guys. It's all for you. So the 40,000 XAND and 1 XAND Sol per week, they go to these $40,000 provided, right? So if you've provided half of it, like $20,000, you would get 20,000 XAND and half a XAND Sol, right? And the more liquidity is provided, the lower gets the APY, right? So that's why I'm saying I'm going to up the rewards here once we reach that did I make it 66,000 XAND? I don't know. Was it 66 or 69? I can't remember. So once we reach that, and a few days back we were at $40,000, but I see liquidity is provided each and every day. I'm super happy about that, right? So maybe we're at 45 right now. I'm not sure. Once we hit that 66,000 or 69,000, I said it on Discord, right? Whatever I wrote is the truth. What I'm saying now is just trying to remember. Once we hit that threshold, I will double those rewards. So we will get 80,000 ZAND and 2 ZAND Sol per week, right? So, and it is still impressive because it adds up over the year. It is really that. So I looked into it like a few minutes ago, and the ZAND Sol was at 0%, at zero, unfortunately, right? So it showed 50% just with the ZAND. And with together with the ZAND Sol, it's probably like 75% or so a year. You don't get it all in 1 week, right? But the year has 52 weeks. If you add that up, you almost double your liquidity that you put in there. So I think it is quite impressive, and I do want to incentivize liquidity here, right? I want, step by step, I want to get us up to 1 million or so in liquidity so that we become a real player here, right? And I couldn't be more excited to see the ZAND price still developing nicely. I thought like, well, after the P nodes are all sold, people don't need to buy ZAND anymore to buy their P nodes, and it might drop off like crazy. And it didn't, right? It did a little bit, but then buyers came back in, and I love to see that. What is the allocation, Dr. Alburn, for the airdrop 2? I will announce that as soon as we know it. And Sea Moon Lady, I like that, Peter. Okay, thank you. This turned out to be a nice AMA. Yeah, it turned out to be an AMA because you just asked all these questions, right? I don't want to ignore these. It wasn't supposed to be an AMA. 69 is better, absolutely, Michael. So maybe let's do 69. All right, cool. So man, this has been almost an hour then. Make sure if you watch this on YouTube, just go to X and watch it again, right? You don't have, if you want, listen to it again, right? Sometimes if you listen to things twice, you will get these aha effects, and you will get some insights there that you haven't had the first time. But even if you just let it run and do something else in the meantime, it'll help us on X, and we need growth on X, right? And we're still growing. There was some event there where they deleted millions of X accounts there that were kind of fake or something. So like the last few weeks or so, the growth was relatively low with our followers numbers, but it's going to pick up again. And in general, over the past few months, we've seen great growth on X with engagement, with everything followers. So thank you, and make sure, especially with the video content on X, make sure to engage with it. Watch it all the way through, and give it a like button, give it a retweet, give it a reply. So that all helps. And yeah, then thanks guys. It was awesome. It was fun for me to do this session here. It was way more interactive than I thought. And yeah, thanks guys. Catch you later. Peace.